Welcome to another day, and now we get to start working on the front end of the car. Let's remove everything that is wrong with this Tesla and then assess the damage and see what's wrong with it so we can get any missing parts and also to work a bit on the car. Let's move. Okay, no hope on the auto, so let's just start working on the front end of this car and get ready for the people who are coming to remove the windshield. So first we need to remove this. And I think it's the emergency release button for whoever is trapped here, which I think is requirement by the law. And then we have 2 screws here, and then 2 on each side, and also 2 screws here. Let's open them up quick. And now let's see if we can remove this front cover. I see another screw here as well. Alright, are you gonna come off now? Now let's see if this cover will come off. Very easy. And with this cover off, let's see if this door will close now. Yeah, no issues at all. So this should make life easier for people to come and be able to cut the glass and put the new one in. So I did a visual inspection and everything looks good, apart from one thing. If we put some light here, do you see that blue water there? So that's the coolant for the battery. And if you see in here, we have 2 readings. One says max and one says NOM, which I think should be for nominal or normal. And this one is sitting below it and not on that line. So this is also one of the other things we need to do. We need to top off the coolant level to the right level to make sure that battery doesn't overheat when it's doing any sort of like a fast charging. Also looking at this brake fluid, everything looks to be normal here, no issues at all. And then the people who are experts in removing and installing car glasses arrived at the workshop. And man, I was so happy that I did not attempt this repair myself, because these Tesla glasses, when they removed it, I noticed that they had so many connectors and sensors and cameras and all the stuff related to it. Not to mention that these glasses are bigger than your average normal German cars that you see on the road. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're either gonna mess something up or it's just gonna take forever. But these people obviously knew what they were doing. They removed the old glass, installed a new one, and that paved the way for us to continue the work and bring this Tesla back to life. And the new glass is in. The team did an amazing job of it. They said I can remove those tapes after 2 hours and no washing for 3 days. Like with this date, I can wash the car. Of course, it's going to take 3 days to fix this car. So that part is done. Now all is left is to fix the fender, fix the bumper, and the biggest job is to change the center dashboard. So I have the new fender arrived. It's primed but not painted. We also have the fender, which I'm kind of worried about it because the packaging was literally what you can see with no foam and no protection. I'm really looking forward to remove the dashboard and work on the interior of the car, but I guess the next logical step is to remove the fender so we can test fit it and make sure all is okay, so we can give the fender and the bumper to the paint shop and have them ready to install. So for the fender, I have removed these screws from the top, and there's also 1 bolt from the inside of the car, which you can get after opening the door. And also I can see there is 1 bolt right down there. So we need to remove this wheel in order to get to that screw, and after that the fender should come right off. Let's open this up quick. So this is the screw we need to remove right down here. Let's see if this can get to it or not. Yep, it's coming off. Okay. Remove that. Okay, I removed that bolt off camera and everything looks okay underneath of it. While we're here, I'm gonna remove this bumper as well to see what we are dealing with. And now the bumper should technically come right off. Oh, there's a wire. Of course, there's always a wire. All right, with that connection removed, I guess it's held up by some stuff underneath of it. It's actually held off by this bit of the bumper that has folded underneath of this crash bar. How are we going to remove that? You see, when you say everything is going great, everything starts not going great. I should have not said that. Let's remove those bolts now. A couple of 15s here. All right, with both bolts off. Let's try this now. Yep, it's coming out. Let's remove the other side as well. All right, let's continue. Let's open these two as well, see where this gets us. A couple of 13s. So I realized that there are more damages in the front than I originally anticipated. So while we are waiting on parts, let's move the project to the interior and start doing what we do best, removing the seats, the center console, and the dashboard, and then redoing that all in reverse. This front seats, you need to first try to locate the T15 screw in the front, and let me see if I can find it. And then after that, you need to start unscrewing it. Okay, once you remove the screw, put it aside, and then you can kind of lift the seatbelt from here. And apparently, all you need to do is to put a kind of a pry tool, and there is some sort of a tab that is holding this trim piece here. So this is a tab that we just removed right now. And after that, I think we are gonna need to remove this buckle. So we push it in and then we pull this plastic to the side. So now we need to remove this connector, which is for the seatbelt tensioner. And the way to remove this wire is to push on this yellow tab, and then it should just easily come off. And open this screw as well. We can open this up so it all can come off in one piece. And with that all the way out, I'm just gonna pass all of this through this trim piece, and hopefully I have enough clearance to remove this spring tensioner, and there you go. I don't know, but for me, I like efficiency, so let's move on. And since the driver's seat is all the way forward, let's remove the two bolts in the back of the seat rail. And the two bolts are out. So now we need to push this seat back to access the two bolts in the front. So let's connect this controls back in again and turn this guy on. You actually need to force it on these no-co boosts. Pushing the seat back. And now we can remove these bolts as well. And now we should be able to kind of tilt the seat back in order to get access to any connections that are coming from the floor of the car to the actual seat itself. All right, it's been a few minutes and I realized that there are so many connectors underneath of the seat, and if you really want to start removing one by one, you can, but then it starts to get really messy and some of them are really, really difficult to do. So I resorted to the next best thing. And that is to pull the main harness. So all of them go to this connection that is empty right now. And if you remove that wire, you can pretty much take out all the wires that are related to seats in one go instead of stabbing at them one by one underneath of it. And now one of the seats are out of the car. So I repeated the steps for the passenger side. The passenger side is pretty much the same, and ready to remove the center console and the dashboard of the car. With both of the seats out, I think it's the best time to end this episode of fixing this crash damaged Tesla Model 3 rear-wheel drive standard. Thank you all for watching my video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video with your family and friends. And I hope to catch you all on the next episode. Peace.